Patrick Royce, Lavelle E. Neal, and Sid Hartman on this.
Starring Lavelle and O'Neill, who will do 2/3 of the talk. He thinks a sentence is a paragraph.
Welcome, sir.
Sid, the ratings show that when I'm on, more females watch this show than any time ever.
Oh, is that right?
Right.
Yeah. You counted on me? You took a survey?
Yeah, I did.
Sidney, I'll start with you then, okay? The Twins, this thing, they won 4 straight in there. Doesn't feel like it. They got piped today 7-1, almost no hit. Your take as we head towards the trade deadline?
Oh, they're definitely going to trade Morneau.
What can you get for him?
Unless they can get nothing for him. If they get anything for him within reason, I'm convinced they got to trade him for this reason.
Last week you said they're not going to trade him.
Huh?
Last week you said they're not going to trade him.
I didn't think they would.
Okay.
But Ryan made a statement that he said, I'd be very surprised if I didn't make a trade before July 31st. And who is the number 1 guy who's going to trade?
Jamie Carroll will get traded too.
Carroll?
Yeah.
Jared Burton, maybe?
Maybe Burton, yeah.
He's pitching better now.
He's got a last couple of times he's been okay.
I'm going to say this about the Morneau situation. Yes, the Twins should look into trading him, but the thing you have to realize is that you just can't say that, well, we could trade him and sign him during the offseason, okay? Now, yes, he has ties to this area. He also has a home in Arizona. And once a player becomes a free agent and finds out how much teams want him, sometimes it becomes too irresistible to move on.
Yeah, that's very true because they think they're locked into Minnesota, Patrick, until somebody else shows up at their door.
Well, if I wanted him back next year, I wouldn't trade him.
If you want him back.
I don't think I want him back. Sorry.
That's a bigger question.
I love you, but...
Why wouldn't you want him back?
Because he hasn't done anything.
Well,
he's knocked in a few runs, but he's a shadow of what he was.
They got nobody better.
Well,
not even close.
Yes.
But you're talking about...
And you see what it's gotten him.
I like having Morneau in the clubhouse. He's a great guy, and Gardy relies on him to straighten out some of the younger guys when they make mistakes. But eventually, if he's not producing, you got to move on and try something else.
Yeah, you're talking about 270... 14 home runs is the way it would project this year. Well,
right, he may end up with like 90 RBIs, which isn't bad, but you need that power thread. And
not producing compared to the other guys?
Well, okay, well, you compare it to
you're not winning with them. You might as well. I think Sano's going to end up being a first baseman.
The tough thing about this is that, sorry, the tough thing about this is you're not going to get a lot from Morneau because he's going to be a rental player. Because whoever he plays with is going to be for a half a season. That's going to affect how much that team's going to be willing to pay the Twins. And how much of that team's going to have to take on salary. Are the Twins willing to take on half the salary? Are they willing to take on the total salary? That's going to affect what they can get. And I'm telling you, it may not be worth dealing him if you can't get something decent in return. You want another...
You're right, Sid. That was a long sentence.
You want another Brett Jacobson?
Sid, you're up again.
What's that?
You get to talk again. Go ahead.
I say that they're going to trade him, for sure. Because if some club gets him, they got a chance to re-sign him next year. He'll re-sign here for less money than any other team. But you don't want him back.
Well, keep him then, because you're going to get Jim Holley and Brett Jacobson. Who cares?
Or Todd Walker for Todd Sears.
Who wants another load of nothing?
Yeah.
Who wants another Eduardo Escobar? You might as well keep Morneau for 2 months.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Twins are going to toss out $4 million to Morneau and the team will offer him 6 or 7 and say, honey, I know you're from this area, but I'm getting double for what the Twins are offering me.
Right. And when push comes to shove, you look at the numbers and that's what you do. Sid.
I hear Pittsburgh wants him pretty bad. That's what I heard from a pretty good source. And, that they'd replace that Jones, who was
ironically
for a long time, hitting about 250.
He did well for Pittsburgh.
He's got more homers than Morneau.
That's the trouble. They say they're going to Tampa Bay because they got James Loney. Well, they're not taking the salary, but James Loney's more productive than Morneau.
He's been over 300 and he plays the hell out of first base.
Yeah, so unless you go, okay, you can DH him, play first base, play every day that way.
The thing is that maybe intrigue teams to trade for him is that he is a veteran and he's got some playoff experience.
And let's be honest, on this Twins roster, there's just nobody else that's going to value out there. That's what we end up talking about.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sid.
Who is going to play first base for him next year?
They'll call up Parmalee and put him at first base.
For the rest of this year. Next year, who knows? Who knows who's going to play first base? But here's the trouble. If the Twins don't trade him, the public's going to be mad because they didn't trade him. And if they do trade him, they're going to be mad because they didn't get anything. So it's a catch-22.
Right.
But at least you get something if you trade him. And if you don't sign him after this year, you get nothing. And
Yeah,
the
but
Twins,
Maxie, sometimes nothing is better than something.
How about
Exactly
Perkins?
right.
In his
If
case,
it's Brett Jacobson
Jim Hoey
or Todd
and Brett
Sears,
Jacobson,
yeah.
nothing is better than something.
so maybe they need to revisit it. I'd go low-level prospects.
Unless you can pull off
Class A kind of
like
guy.
when they traded
I
Brian
wouldn't even
Buchanan.
try to get a
when they traded Brian Buchanan, they got Jason Bartlett. Maybe you can luck out on that. So maybe
That's a
Ball
good deal.
How about Perkins? Will he trade him?
I don't think Perkins is going to get traded. There's indications that the two untouchable twins are Joe Mauer and Glenn Perkins.
Well, Joe's untouchable because
He has no trade.
Joe wants to be.
Right.
Next year at this time, if this thing keeps going, I wouldn't be surprised if Mauer said, hey, if Boston comes up with enough.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
the
I
All-Star
think Joe's
game-
got a good thing here.
I don't think there's no chance of
Nah, Crete won't let Joe leave after he has those twins. They need those twins.
I don't think Maddie will
they'll
let him.
end
I
up
don't think
there.
Maddie will let him
15
leave.
years. 15
Take a break,
years, they're
come
going to be
back,
on the
see what it
varsity,
is.
man.
no ch-
But they don't lose.
There it is, J.D. White's. Yeah, that's real. Stop before next year's All-Star game. Stop on by J.D. White's anytime. This time of year is a great time. Sit outside, sit inside, visit with Pat and the staff. It's a lot of fun.
I'm
Welcome
really,
back to the sports show.
Yeah, you got to talk about the All-Star game. I'm really worried about the future of the home run derby, which was really good this year because of Cespedes, and now he's got a bad wrist. And he
How
hasn't
about that?
played since. So
Whoops.
You want in home runs in this park?
if the perception is he got hurt in the home run derby,
Whoops.
they're going to have a hard time getting anybody to play a hit in it next year.
That's a possibility, but there's going to be guys who want to win that thing. There's a lot of Eagles that come involved with the home run derby, and guys are going to want to show out
Yeah,
and try
but
to win.
Is there a big prize for the winner?
No, not
Pride.
really.
There's a check in his name donated to a charity, right?
Yeah,
That's what I
Morneau
think
won it,
yeah.
and that's, of course, the year that, what's his name, put on a show.
You know what they should
Josh
do?
Hamilton.
You know what they should do with the thing? It should be one round less. They should have 8 guys hit, and then
It does drag on.
Then the 2 finalists hit, and then they don't have to kill
Well, I
themselves.
remember the NBA, though. That started with superstars all wanting to participate in the
Oh, yeah.
slam dunk contest.
Now you
and
got
they try to use guys to market them so they,
Now Rodney Williams will never play a minute in the league, but he'll be the
slam
dunk
dunk
contest.
contest,
yeah.
I was at the All-Star game. I was telling you what, the crowd was enthralled with Cespedes, so how much damage he was going to do as that tournament kept going on, because he was hitting some balls there. And Twins fans would be happy just to see some guys with some man muscles hitting the ball out of the park instead of the team they're watching right now.
Yeah. Sydney, do you think Nishioka set this franchise back in terms of being gun shy about, going out and taking risks?
I don't know. I just think there's only one way this team's going to win.
What is it?
They don't have the players in their system that are going to be ready for at least a couple, 3 years. Is go out and sign 2 big-time free agent pitchers.
Who wants to
Sid,
come here
there's
that
no-
would be worth the money? That would
Plus,
be
look
Get
at the
money,
list.
they'll come here.
Look at the list for next year.
They're locking them up, man. If you're
There's
Verlander or
nobody.
Scherzer, they'll lock you up early.
And plus, like the Royals were in the same situation with the Twins several years ago. They went out and overpaid for Gil Mesh. I think they gave him, $14 million a year?
He ended up
Where
giving
did
it back.
Where did Gil Mesh end up getting the Royals? Where did they get him? So.
Right, exactly, because if you had one pitcher to a team that needs 3,
Yeah.
what do you got? That's the problem, Sydney.
Yep.
Well,
Most of the good ones are developed.
Yeah, and they're locked up, too. I mean, these teams
once
don't
you
let
get
them
them,
go.
you keep them.
Yeah.
It's
in
great.
every club?
Well, no, I mean, but through the year, but the current game, most of them are developed and kept.
What's your take on Tampa?
Tampa's that's an amazing thing. They had a bad owner down there, and they ran him out of there. And
Namoli.
the guy bought the club for peanuts. They don't draw flies. You watch the games on TV, there's nothing but empty seats. They get about a $40 million revenue sharing every year, and they keep on coming up with good young players. It's amazing.
They're on fire
You talk
right now.
about good farm systems. Who's got a better one they have?
Yeah.
I will say this, though. Tampa Bay had to suck for many years before they got all those high draft picks that drafted David Price, Jeremy Harold.
But they've turned it over now. I mean, they've
Yeah.
turned
Turned it over,
over.
and heck, they
You know
lost
what they do?
Hamilton.
You know what they do? They trade a guy a year early.
Yep.
They never trade him a year late. They always trade him a year
Oh,
early.
you're saying they're being proactive?
Yeah.
I never heard the Twins.
Trade him.
Well, that's
I
what
never heard the
Oakland was
Twins
doing.
being
Remember, Oakland
proactive.
kept moving Mulder and every Hudson and every pitcher, and
Yeah.
before they hit the hit
Mulder
the
went
wall.
to St. Louis and broke
What are
down.
people going to see here for side events at the All-Star game next year? What impressed you?
You know what? It was a great event. And
Obviously, we see the things
I
on
tell you,
TV.
there's an advantage that Minnesota's going to have over New York because you have to get on a shuttle bus and travel all over the place. You know, everything's going to be compacted in that downtown area. There's going to be a fan fest that's going to come in the week before the All-Star game. There's going to be stuff for fans and kids to do, and it's going to be vibrant and exciting in downtown Minneapolis for the All-Star game. It's going to be a lot of fun. The ticket prices, I'm telling you, folks, get ready. They're not going to be cheap. All right,
Sticker shock, huh?
Because you're going to have to buy a group of tickets that includes the Futures game, the Home Run Derby, and the All-Star game, and get ready to fork out
Are they
4
gonna buy it
figures.
here?
It's going to cost $1,000 for that ticket strip. So start saving your money now because it's not going to be cheap, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a big party for about a week in Minnesota as we celebrate baseball here. I had a good time in New York. But
We're going to look at Buxton when he plays in the Futures game or something.
yeah, he may come back for a second year because I don't think he's going to be able to make the majors next year. So
Yeah. By the way, I was talking to Doug Mankiewicz the other day, and he said he played with Buxton. He played with Torrey, or manages Buxton. He played with Torrey at the same age. He says no comparison. Buxton is way ahead of Torrey Hunter at the same
well,
age.
Torrey didn't figure out a hit till you got to
Took a long
AAA. Buxton
time.
has an approach to hitting that's way beyond Torrey at A-ball level.
Neil Diamond, they brought out some talk that you could get moved into the 7th inning stretch next year at the All-Star game as we kind of salute our locals. Any thoughts?
You come up with everything.
I tell you, ever since the bombing in Boston, you can't get rid of Neil Diamond.
Hey,
If they're
no,
playing a
hey,
baseball
I know-
game, he's everywhere,
At
man.
the old Metrodome, whenever there was a dignitary or a politician singing the 7th inning stretch, Sid somehow climbed over that wall to get to that little well to sing the 7th, to take me out to the ball
Remember
game.
that? Yeah, that was a
Exactly.
tradition by itself back in the day. Back after this, stay with us.
Yes.
There it is. Stop on by anytime right off of General Mills Boulevard. You see those rings on the back of cars? Lots of people driving an Audi just doing inventory when you're out there. There's a reason. Record sales numbers because they got great vehicles. Welcome back to the Sports Show. Sid, last night you told me Phil Mickelson did not have a chance.
I never talked to you.
No, you did not talk to me.
You
but
hate
you
Phil
didn't even know
Mickelson
him.
because he never returns your phone
What'd you
calls.
think? Yeah, what'd you think
Why do
of
you
him?
make up these things?
Because they're funny. It's funny to make up things and get you.
I'm not a golf expert. Mr. Rice is a golf
Okay, but I
expert.
did defer to you first, just for clarification for this segment,
I
okay?
do not qualify as a golf expert.
But I did ask you first, so you can't say after
Unless
the show.
Phil Mickelson
come
returned
to
his
me
phone
first.
call.
Patrick?
Well, the one British Open I covered was on that golf course in 2002, and that year it had rained some, and it wasn't nearly as difficult as it was this time because it was the driest spring in 80 years there, and everything was. They just let nature do what he wants to do, and it was harder than hell. And they put a little sprinkle of water on the green once in a while, but the greens were
The
awful.
private course?
The whole course.
Yeah,
Guys-
very private. So private, if you know a woman, don't take her with you. They don't have any, no women members.
There were players hitting drives that were right down the fairway, and they would roll off the fairway into a bunker. It was so
but
tough.
but the ball was running 100 yards after it was off the ground, but Phil played unbelievable.
What-
It was the best he's ever played in his life.
What kicked in?
He just made a putt. He got going on. They birdied 4 of the last six
Six
holes,
holes.
and he made some putts, made some long putts, which were very difficult there because everybody was afraid to hit it hard enough to get it to the hole because if they missed the hole, you're going to go 8, 10 feet past.
Isn't this true? Mickelson's one of the old-time golfers. I mean, the name Gophers. And this seems to me the first time some veteran golfers won a tournament in a long time.
Well, not really.
What do you
Watson 2 years ago had
Watson
a
had
chance
to
to
run,
win the British
yeah.
Open at age 61 if he would have
I think
parred
couples got
18.
off to a fast start last year.
But Phil is, I thought his time, he's 43 now, 42 or 3, and that's getting up there in golf. But he's got a great, when he could be bad, miss cuts, but when he's good, he's very, very good. And now he's won 5 of the majors, and he's probably one of the top 10 of all time.
What time did you get up this morning to watch the British Open?
Yeah, about 6:30.
How about that? I was up about 6:45, 7 o'clock. The leaderboard going into the final round was fantastic because you had Woods, you had Mahan, you had Westwood, you had Head Extension, you had Mickelson, you had one of the Johnsons, you had just a powerhouse leaderboard. It was a great, everybody thought there was going to be a playoff coming at the end of the fourth
Tiger,
round.
how
But the
about
funny
him?
part is Mickelson, after the third round, said, I think even is going to get you in contention. I think anybody who goes 1 under has a chance to win. And look what happened. He wins with 3 under. The second place guy was at even.
Tiger set a new world record for his number of audible curses.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Ooh, he had a few.
boy.
He had a few today.
Yeah.
He can't do it anymore, can he?
Well, he was pretty good this week.
I think Tiger's in that group now where he's like on any given weekend he could jump up and win one, but he doesn't have that dominant run that he won.
I saw a stat today. Last 6 majors, said his last 6 majors, he's
Mr.
11
Goff now.
under. 11 under in the first
What
and
sport
second
aren't you
round, and
next
23 over in the third and
My
fourth.
goal,
I got a question
my goal
for
is to
Patrick
replace
here.
Royce as a confirmed hacker.
The Ryder Cup versus the majors. The Ryder Cup's the next one that comes here.
Ryder
Which
Cup's-
one would you enjoy as a spectator more?
The majors.
Yeah.
I like, I think the Ryder Cup's fine, but,
I had a blast at the PGA when it was here at Hazeltine. It was a great week of golf.
Here's my worry about the Ryder Cup at Hazeltine, though. It's, it's a huge event, but the first Olympic golf tournament is going to be held in Brazil like 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
The first ever, and
Yeah.
all those guys,
You think it couldn't-
all those guys are going to be there, and I'm wondering if we might have a couple of bailouts. Maybe, probably not, but I think it's going to take a little of this pizzazz out of it.
You might have to make a phone call or two, buddy.
Get that Olympic thing canceled.
Yeah.
I'll go to you.
Take a break on that.
You can get
The
anything
sports
done.
show. There it is, corner of Lagoon and Fremont and Uptown Bar Abilene. For reservations, 612-825-2525. You got a glimpse of the food. It's even better in your mouth. Stop on by.
Summer's over, boys. Training camp
Yeah,
starts
coming up
Friday.
This, Thursday they check
End
in.
of
Friday.
summer.
Cowboys already reported.
Did they really?
Yes, they're in
they got the
Oxnard.
early game?
They're in Oxnard now. No, it's like
They got the.
it's the Ravens and someone else in there. I don't know what
Okay.
the Cowboys are, because Jerry Jones wants to be the first one to open his mouth.
How do you feel about the Vikings going to training camp this week?
I am not as sure Vikings having a good year
Here we go.
as other people are. I just think, I said it not to be repetitious, that lost 4 players who were pretty good. Winfield, Harvin, Cluey did the job, and even Brinkley wasn't great.
Brinkley sucks.
They don't have anybody to
Cluey could be
replace him.
replaced.
So we'll see how they replace those guys.
Fans are fired up, though. Fans are much more into it than they were a year ago at this time.
Yeah, sure, because they were 10-6.
Yeah.
They were in the playoffs.
They made the playoffs. They
right.
should be optimistic.
And they got to
Ticket
get.
sale ain't that good.
You know what I'm worried about, though? I'm worried about Ziggy financially these 2 years before he gets his new stadium, because the check, the revenue sharing check for each team this year was only $179 million. And the Packers only made $54 million this year. I'm a little worried about Ziggy's financials. I'm glad we're building him a $1 billion stadium that's going to cost him nothing so he can make it financially.
$179 million.
$179 million was the revenue sharing
Every
check
team?
for each
It's a
team.
$12 billion industry,
Every team will
Sid.
get a revenue share.
The Packers made $54 million. No,
Yes.
your cut,
The cut.
of the take from
So-
TV.
So if you get $179 million, then you go, okay, what's our costs for the? You know this stuff, the roster. I mean, you can't help but make a lot of money. Is what we're saying.
Well, I don't think that's
No,
happening.
they're cut from the
$179 million.
revenues, from TV,
television.
from gate sales, and from everything. Each team got $179 million, not
Yeah.
revenue
Well, yeah.
sharing.
Plus,
Sort of
you're
thing.
still working on making more money on your ancillary stuff.
Yeah,
The only
internet.
reason they want a new stadium, all these guys, so they can have those seats they can charge more money for.
Yeah, that's right. Then you can make There won't be an NFL team ever sold again for less than $2 billion.
That's right.
You're probably right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
Yep. Yep. And LA.
Well, we'll see how the TV starts affecting them eventually. It's so darn good.
Oh, HD.
it's
as
so
far
good
as
to watch.
people
Well, yeah,
come to
it can
games.
affect your attendance, but it also helps you on the other end. It's television and football are the greatest marriage of all time.
We'll see.
And
You know
NFL,
what they
NFL
did?
does the right thing. 'cause
And
they
they figured out how to keep away from blackouts. They just don't have them
They just don't
anymore.
have-
That's right.
They just
Yeah.
say everybody sold enough tickets.
Yeah.
Put the game on TV.
Yep. Yeah, God, it's weird in the old days, you know.
They will not have blackouts eventually, I'll tell you that.
Okay. Gopher football, how you feeling now? This is fairly optimistic coming in?
I think
Media
they got
day
a
this
very
week
good
in Chicago.
schedule.
Yeah.
I think they got a chance
You're
to win
concerned about
6.
San Jose?
Huh?
You're concerned about San Jose?
Yeah. San Jose
Yeah.
might be tough. They got a great quarterback. I think
How about Eastern
because they
Illinois?
play too well
He's not as
against
concerned about it.
Texas Tech, I think they'll be pretty good. They ain't going to beat Nebraska, aren't going to beat Michigan, maybe not Wisconsin, but all the other teams on the schedule, they got
Lavelle, you look like you're
a chance against.
Have you heard this before?
What the hell do we know that the Gophers do well? Tell me what they do well. What is the Gophers' strength?
You're an expert on Gopher football too, huh? What aren't you an expert on?
What do they do well, Sid?